Does a person with borderline personality disorder enmesh with you? Do they enmesh with you out of their loneliness, and then devalue you because they realized that it was loneliness that caused them to enmesh with you? No, because people with BPD aren't that self-aware, and whatever motivates them to want to be with you, they have disorganized attachment. BPD is a relational disorder, and they have disorganized attachment. They have communication deficits. It becomes a nightmare. And every time there's a rupture or an episode where you're getting devalued and hurt, and you're not seen and you're not heard, and the push-pull in BPD, all of that is about their woundedness, brokenness, and inability to be able to relate in healthy, congruent, consistent ways that are age appropriate. Because people with BPD really are emotionally very young. Could be like young childlike sometimes or teen-like, but they never really got to emotionally mature due to arrested emotional development by or before the age of 2. And people with BPD don't just enmesh with you. You have to be, like people with codependency, enmesh as well. And that enmeshment is a two-party situation, not just a one-person thing. And the other part of this comment that I'm sort of responding to here, and I have a longer video on something along the same lines as this. So is it because of a devaluation that a person with BPD, who discarded you, thought maybe that you weren't just their type, or they weren't really attracted to you after all? And so chances are that if the person didn't have BPD, that they never would have picked you in the first place. No, that has nothing to do with it whatsoever. That's really trying to overcomplicate. Well, BPD is complicated, but that kind of overcomplicates what really happens in relationships and how they really can't work out with people suspected of having BPD or who have BPD and they haven't had any treatment and they need a lot of substantial treatment, because they don't just mesh with you and they don't just do it out of loneliness. They have a lack of self, and they're trying to seek identity through you. And what does that mean for you? Well, you're hardly ever going to be seen or heard if you ever were. And even in the idealization phase, it's not exactly what people think that it was.